All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Symbaroum tonight. We got the whole crew. We left off with the crew having split up. Two people possibly going to their deaths. So yeah, we're just going to pick up pretty quickly. But before we do, let's dive back into a quick summary, and then we're just going to dive right into play and get as much time tonight as we can. Last time around, we caught up with Madjac. Madjac has been away from the party for the past day. And last time around, we figured out why he had a little bit of a nightmare. Obviously, the characters don't necessarily know all of this. That's up to Madjac how much he decides to share. But we, as viewers of the episode, we know that he had a bit of a nightmare. He spent most of the day at Mahira's agency deciding whether or not he was going to stick with the party and do that, because you've been caught up in the politics of Thistlehold. And it's the question of, do you want to stick around and do it, or do you want to kind of go back out and do your thing, which is go off into Davakar and do an expedition and that kind of stuff. You were invited to a expedition reluctantly by a very naive and racist fourth son of Baron Voltos, who's of the I think it's Durago barony, which is like basically right around Thistlehold. And you were doing this because like one of the other people who were supposed to be on that expedition, Sarek Sateo, who you've seen, this big white-haired Ambrian, he was injured during the fight by the sinkhole, and he got thrown off. Ultimately, Madjac, you track down the party over at the Adovakar Tavern, where Dismas was back to his old tricks, talking, and you all kind of caught Madjac up to speed, and you decided to venture down to Father Sarvola's mission in the south side of the city, and you're trying to help him. That's sort of the goal. You're trying to help him. He's a heretical priest, and you're trying to fulfill a bargain that Rowena made on behalf of the party with Decibel the Lightbringer, the only living Lightbringer, by the way. And basically the promise was that she was going to give you access to Anadea's temple quarters, Anadea being a young woman who might have some information on this cult and this weird corruption going on in town. Unfortunately, she was killed, and so you're trying to track down, what did she know? Where has she been? What information did she have? Because she apparently hasn't shared it with anyone, at least no one that you've tracked down yet. So you're trying to get into her quarters, and Decima said she'd give you access if you get to the bottom of this threat against Father Servola, which she can't be seen helping. She can't help him. The temple can't help him because the first father, he decided to call Servola a heretic, because Servola is a little bit more open-minded, perhaps, when it comes to the religion of Prios. So you all agreed, or at least Rowena agreed on your behalf. So you're headed down to this station, and it had a line out the door. You were trying to get some conversation with him, but there's all these different people who are trying to get guidance and comfort from him, etc. And before you were really able to speak with him, trouble erupted. A group of these robed and cloaked protesters stormed the grounds. They started throwing lanterns on the building itself. Chaos ensued. Some of the parishioners started to flee. Some stuck around to try to help douse some of the fires that started to erupt as the building went up in the flames. Gwydin, you tried to escort Sarvola to safety, but he was having absolutely none of that. He was not leaving his station while it still stood outside. Atolia and Madjac, you were trying to pick off many of the arsonists from range, climb atop this wagon, and you were trying to pick them off. Rowena, you at one point were trying to rally the crowd to help out with the fires, and then eventually you knocked one of them on the head. And in the end, several of the arsonists fled. A couple died. 2 were taken captive, and half the building was effectively destroyed, a little bit more than half. But neither Sarvola nor anyone apparently in his flock seems to have been harmed, at least at all significantly. Atolia, towards the end, you changed your shape, and you started stalking after one of the fleeing arsonists. You saw them rip off their robes, throw them off to the side, and they started snaking through the dark streets of Thistlehold. And Rowena, you kind of did the same, except you don't get to change shape, and you don't get to make somebody forget what you look like. But you nonetheless, without telling anybody, chased after the other. So we're going to pick up pretty much right after that. So we'll say that we'll start with Rowena and Atolia. Both of you are, for the past, let's say 10, 15 minutes or so, you've been following your respective quarries, different paths. So you both went different directions. But I will say, even though you both don't know this, but both of you are vaguely heading in this sort of northeasternly direction. But you're doing so in a way that is very circuitous. And I would say both of you have noticed that the people that you're following, they're taking these weird turns. They're doubling back from time to time. You can see they go on a main road, they hop off that main road, and then they go onto like a side alley, and then they hop immediately back onto that main road, kind of on the next turnoff. So you're just seeing it over and over again. They're kind of sneaking through here and there. For Atolia, you kind of headed east for a bit, a little bit north of Filth Street. You've been going through more recently through some nicer homes that actually have yards, these kind of shared gardens. And then you started to kind of veer north. You just crossed over Lassifer's Road. It's a familiar place probably for you because just to the east is the East Gate, which you take often to Blackmore. Rowena, you kind of ventured a little bit more west and then north. For a brief moment, you flew through the Antique Plaza, kind of where the Bronze Well was, in fact. And then immediately hung a right, and you found yourself kind of through this neighborhood of kind of merchants and various things between sort of just north of Lassifer's Road, and you find yourself coming up on the Park of the Elders, which you were at earlier today when you went to go to the Sun Temple. So at no point have either of them interacted with anybody. Like, they haven't talked to anybody, they haven't stopped with anybody, they haven't gone inside a building. It's always been roads. Neither of them have those robes on anymore. And I'll say that they are looking over their shoulders from time to time. Atolia, you don't need to make any kind of roll, but I want for stealth because they don't notice you. But I do want to roll for Rowena. Rowena, roll a discreet test. You've been tracking them for quite some time now. Again, for about 10-15 minutes without them seeing you. But give me another one. And then, Atolia, give me a vigilant +3.
I'm going to take an audience for a +1. I'm rolling 12, so I'm going to try to roll under 13. Or no, I'm going to get a +1, so.
Yeah, whatever you got to do.
That is a success.
Okay.
Also a success.
All right, very nice. So, Rowena, you lose track of your guy for a moment. And you were coming up to Ophelia's Road, which is just west of the Park of the Elders. And you kind of lose track of him. And like there you are right in the intersection. You've just come out of the alleyway and you've just lost him. And you're like looking left and right. And for a moment, you think you just lost track. Maybe you went into one of these buildings. And then you see across the way, like he's kind of hanging out underneath an awning. And he's looking back the way he came, specifically in your direction, but you catch it just at the last second, and as his head turns right where you are, you manage to dart back behind this stack of rubbish, behind what looks like some kind of, not bookstore, but some sort of like, paper maker. Atolia, you, as you're kind of going through these homes in the southeast of the city, again, these are the areas that are, the homes are a little bit more separate, there's a lot more greenery. And you can see that once or twice, the guy you've been following has kind of cut through some gardens. And then you see him kind of climb up and over what looks like a half wall. And so he's not sticking to the alleys. And so it's actually, even though you're not seen, it's hard to keep up with him for a moment. But you're able to hop over this fence, look around, see him darting down the street, and eventually you kind of catch back up with him. So as the two of you continue to track them, over the next another 10 or 15 minutes, Atolia, you find yourself kind of passing by the Sun Temple, but you also find your guy veering more towards the Eastern Gate. For a moment, it almost looks like he's heading out the gate until he just suddenly veers almost at the last second and starts heading northward once more. Rowena, you see he just kind of passes by the Park of the Elders, heads north, turns into another neighborhood. Again, at no point ever having any real logic to it. But I'm going to say with both of you succeeding on your rolls, you are going to kind of get much further. And you finally see them in somewhat short succession of each other disappear into a building. So I'm going to move you to over in the direction of where you ended up. You find yourselves. I'm gonna say you're in. You guys don't know you guys don't know. You can't see each other just yet, so we'll deal with that.
Right.
But both of you, through different means, have effectively made it to sort of a similar location. I'll say, Atolia, you probably get there a little faster. So you're probably the first one there. And when you do, you see it's a very tall, narrow building. And it's a neighborhood. It's north of Demian's Road and south of Halaban's Ring. And the neighborhood is very, very quiet. And it's also kind of isolated. You really don't see a lot of pedestrians. Like once or twice there's one or two. But once you got away from the eastern gate, like the streets got quiet and they got dead. And it was really a little bit more difficult to kind of maintain the notion that you're not following this person. And to the east, there's the long way around, which is like the road that's underneath the palisade. And you see this like weathered building. This facade is kind of got all these like chip paint here and there, different shades of like ochre or brown. And you can see some of the walls have like vines snaking up the side. You see the guy that you're following sneaks down what looks like a narrow alley on the side. Maybe you hesitate, maybe you think about following him for a second, and then you see him just immediately turn as if he was going into the backyard of that building, as opposed to kind of continuing the path. So you think he is like in the backyard of this particular building. Rain, a similar thing happens for you. But you come from a different direction. You come more like kind of from the north a bit, but you end up in the same description of the same building. Tall, 3 stories, narrow, and you see your guy kind of walk through what looks like the home of somebody else, this 2-story home, and you see him hop over what looks like a wall, and he approaches the back of this tall 3-story building. Both of you go ahead and roll vigilance tests. No modifier, just roll vigilant.
All right. Melissa, how many audience dice do we happen to have?
We're good. We're good.
Oh, yeah?
Feel free to
All
take
right,
one.
Well, then I think I'll take one. Thank you.
I am also going to, because my vigilant is 7, so I would like to roll this under 8.
Ooh, ouch.
Oh gosh.
That is a fail.
Neither of us did well with that at all.
Okay, so I will say, even a fail, we're still going to fail forward on some of this. At a certain point, Atolia, you do spy somebody walking along the street. Like you see like the head of somebody on the far side of this house that backs up to the tall building that you just saw your guy kind of go into. And you see this gray robe, you see the tall staff of Rowena, and you realize it's Rowena. Raina, you don't see Atolia because Atolia, I think, shifted, so I'm not sure if you've seen it. But like, I'll say Atolia, you actually see Rowena sneaking around and trying to like peek over this wall. And so that's what happens. What do you do?
Because her staff is taller than her. So
yeah.
like, you
it's like a periscope.
instantly see the movement of the staff over the fence.
All right. Yeah, that's a little last down over there. All right. So Atolia, and for anyone interested, she did try to match the garb of the person that she was following, but right now, remembering a little bit about what Anadea looked like, she probably has at least tried to do the long red hair that she had to match it. So, she can't look exactly like her, but...
The other thing to remember is that the person that you were following took their garb off, and so they just took their robe off. Yeah,
changed that along the way as well. Sorry. I meant once they pulled their robe off. She would have still tried to match their garb. But she'll kind of whistle out towards Rowena because she changes form, so they probably have to have some signal. So she'll have whistled like a sharp tune out towards Rowena to try to pull her away from being quite so obvious.
Okay.
And Rowena's really focused on what she's doing. And so I would say it definitely takes a second because she's, it's almost like the turning the radio down because you're looking for an address kind of a thing. Like you're kind of like blocking out kind of the auditory because you're kind of watching things very closely. And then she's sort of failing at that. And as kind of all of her senses kind of start to come back, then she's like, like you see her like looking around.
Get down.
And then she ducks and her staff is pointing up and she's like ducking down.
Rowena, we are going to get you out of this area right now because this whole look that you're going with right now, not working.
I followed him.
Yeah, me too.
He didn't see me, I don't think.
Great. Let's keep it that way and book it the other direction back towards the group. I'm pretty sure this building, but I lost sight of them on my end, so...
They went through that one and hopped the fence and they're over in that one.
Yeah, something similar to what I saw too, but I think we ought to get you at least out of here as long as you're quite so Order Magicka.
And she just sort of looks down as is a little confused about why that's a bad thing, and then just sort of looks down and looks like, oh, okay. And so she pulls out her, one of her many, little notebooks, and so she's writing down sort of like what, she's drawing, the little intersections of the roads and, kind of where this place is and a big star
just
on
write
the map.
The address down too. Yeah, you can just write the address down. There's addresses and things too. Yeah. Okay.
All right, you can do it while we walk. Here we go. Let's head back.
Oh, okay.
All right, so the two of you make note of this place, this 3-story building. A couple of these buildings kind of converge, and it seems they sort of share that backyard. But you're very confident that it's the tall, narrow one that is the one of interest. While all that was happening, we cut back to the mission station. And what we see is the building at this point is half of it is just a husk, this black charred husk. Fortunately, the fire hasn't spread to any other buildings. Some of the garden and such caught on fire here and there, but it doesn't look like it's spread. You can even see that some of the town watch from the barracks to the south of you kind of came and were helping at a certain point with this sort of bucket brigade, and you were able to put the fire out. When all is said and done, and this is all during like maybe the half an hour that Atolia and Rowena have been gone, the three of you are here. So Madjac, Gwydion, Jinzo, and Dismas. And you can see that Sarvola is here, as long as that little boy that was kind of mimic him, and he seems to just sort of follow Sarvola around like he's his shadow at this point. And Sarvola has been going around to the various people who helped kind of put the fire out and is thanking them and sort of blessing them and all sorts of things. And Madjac without issue, and Gwydion and Jinzo as well. Like, you have 2 captives. There are 2 dead as well. What do you guys do? I think I just lost Aaron. Aaron, you're breaking up a bit.
It's just staring him in the eyes. That cold 1,000-yard stare.
Classic Madjac.
Sorry, Jeremy. Stare singular, not eyes. You can only match one.
Okay.
Wow, you're not there, Atolia.
It's still noted.
Okay. While Aaron's internet settles, what did you say, Jinzo?
Speak with the father. He's all right. He's followers.
Yeah, if you go up to him, you can see he is going from person to person who stayed around to help, and there's quite a few, and they were kind of covered in soot. Some of them have small little burns. You can see he comes up and he tends to them here and there. Sometimes you can see a small little kind of glow where you think he might have actually done something more than just given a brief blessing and a thank you. You can see the little boy that's following him around is kind of mimicking all of his things. He comes up, whatever sort of gesticulation with his hands, like whatever motion he makes to sort of bless or thank or whatever it might be, the little boy's doing at the same time. But he's going around person to person. The town watch, you can see that are here. There's a group of people. They're very interested in the dead people. And you can see that they're tending to them. They're looking at them. They're asking questions of, some of the other folks around here. And they haven't quite come to you. So you do have a little bit of time before you might be interrogated or interviewed, whatever it might be. So it looks like the Servola is okay. With that in mind, what do you guys want to do?
Now, can you now?
A little bit. You're coming and going.
Well, crap on a cracker.
We heard that.
That
We
came
heard crap on a cracker. We definitely heard crap on a cracker.
Oh, you seem stable.
Okay.
Okay.
Madjac would take the prisoner whose knee he took out.
Okay.
And he would quickly, while everything was going on, bind his feet and hands and gag him. And then he would turn to Gwyddy and be like, we need to find a quiet place. A storage room, a root cellar, someplace where I can talk with this guy.
Gotcha. So my assumption is this is a you search, I carry sort of situation, right?
Yes.
Well, fucking get on with it.
So Madjac is looking for an area where we can discreetly question this person without prying eyes.
I'm going to want two different roles here, and you can split them up between whoever wants to roll them for your group. There are still some people around. There are Town Watch around, and then there's Sarvola and some of his followers. So if you're trying to take these people away without being noticed, or at least noticed by anyone who cares, that's going to be discreet. And then in this area, I don't think any of the three of you have really spent time here. You would know that bringing these people back to Mahiras would not go over well. But if somebody wants to make a vigilant test to try to maybe find, an abandoned alley or maybe a cellar that you can pop the window open in and climb in, something like that. If someone wants to roll vigilant for that. So I want a discreet for the group, and I want a vigilant for the group.
I'm pretty good at vigilant.
Okay.
I'm pretty crappy at discreet. How are you, Jinzo, at discreet? Or
I'm an 11 discreet.
Okay.
This is decent.
Right.
I will get vigilant. I'll rip vigilant here and see if my luck is better than it was 2 weeks ago.
All right.
Flat or God.
Flat is fine because there's a variety of modifiers. So just give me a flat because there's more than one group that might notice.
Nice 20 on my side.
Completely opposite rolls for these guys, as Jinzo rolls a nat 20, which is very bad in Symbaroum, and Madjac rolls a nat 1, which is very good in Symbaroum. So what I'll say is you bind up the guy, the one who's got the bad knee. Gwydion, you grab them as best you can, throw them over your shoulder, and you and Jinzo slink off following Madjac. We'll say, Madjac, you start looking around to the northeast of here. You stay away from the west because that's a bunch of homes and things. You maybe head northeast to some of these buildings are 2-3 stories high, and you do in fact find in the ground on the ground floor, right above the cobblestones, there is a small little window that goes down to a cellar, and you kind of look around for a moment. You realize no one's followed you, at least yet. And you just kind of kick the window open and you peek inside and you realize it's very dark. It's very quiet. You don't think there's anyone down here. And you hop down in and you realize it's just this storage cellar. You're not even sure who might live above. It might be like a tenement home, a tenement building. And there might be just a couple other folks living in various apartments or rooms for rent upstairs. And you slide down inside. Gwydion, you pass the body of the prisoner in through the window. Madjac, you take it. Gwydion, you slide in afterwards. And right as Jinzo is about to do the same, you hear, "Excuse me there, sir. Might we have a word?"
Right's coming. You guys handle this.
And when you turn around, Jinzo, you can see... Oh no, we lost Aaron. You can see... Hang on, I think I have a 4-person setup. We lost Aaron.
No. Oh.
We have Aaron back.
Fun with overlays.
There we go.
So sorry.
You're all good. I'm about to put Jinzo in jail. So, Jinzo, you turn around.
Again.
And you see a couple of Town Watch looking at you. "Excuse me, sir. Can we have a word with you?"
Right's coming. And I'll tell the others to handle this.
And so you can see that there is a group of 4 Town Watch. And they are... I should note, the Town Watch of Thistlehold are all like grizzled veterans. Like these aren't Like I know I joke around a lot, but these are pretty grizzled veterans. And when you look over, you can see there are 4 people looking at you. It's middle of the night. No one's particularly happy to be on night duty. You see one dude who clearly didn't shave today. You see a woman with a big scar down one side of her face. And you see 2 others who are lurking in the back. Each of them, like, there's a little bit of light maybe from one of the windows above that's kind of flickering off of what appears to be a drawn sword. And they're kind of hiding it just a little bit behind one of the ones in front of them. We were unable to get your statement before you wandered off. It's customary for law-abiding citizens of Thistlehold to wait around on a scene that has clearly been a crime and testify to what they witnessed. Seems as though you tried to slink off without answering a few questions. Now, I don't want to be presumptuous, but that certainly seems like suspicious behavior.
No, you're completely right, but I was going to return in a moment. I'm here now.
Oh, after what? You just going for a midnight stroll?
I'm having a long day. My head's not right. Especially what just happened.
Your head's not right, so you wander away from a crime.
It was sudden. I didn't know what to do. Fight or flight.
And he kind of steps forward a little bit. You can see the woman steps with him, holds up a lantern so they can get a good look at your face. And they see the little scar that you have. Man of your description, scar on his face like that. I got witnesses that says one of the folks who got it all started got run off. Says a man looking like you let him go. I'm curious. Why would you let someone go who very clearly was part of this attack on a citizen of Thistlehold, heretic though he may be?
Oh, he was but a young boy. I didn't realize he was part of it.
Young boy? Does that matter? Young boy, young lass, it doesn't matter. You throw lanterns, you get people killed. We have a place for that in the penitentiary. Maybe we could show it to you.
There's no need for that. I didn't commit any crimes.
Oh, you didn't? Well, it seems you had the opportunity to prevent someone who was responsible for this crime from getting away, and you just let them go, and then, when we started to do our investigation, you fled the scene. As I said, suspicious behavior.
I'm here to clear my name. Ask me anything you need.
Okay. Well, what is that name for starters?
I'm Jinzo. Pleasure to meet you.
Jinzo. You're a resident here? You just visiting?
Nah, I live in a little small house north square.
I'll say you can, if you want, you can give the address. We don't need to worry too. Over by the abomatorium, excuse me. Mr. Jinzo, what were you doing over at the mission station this evening?
Come to see Sarvola.
Did you know? You hear that? You hear that, Vess? They came to see Sarvola. And like the woman with the scar kind of looks at him. Yeah, I think he did. He did say that, didn't he? So, what did you come to see the heretic about?
He's a heretic now.
I just said that. Yes, I did.
Oh, I was under the impression he was a Father Prius. Just wanted him to ease my worries.
Have you been living under a rock?
Well, if this holds a rock, then yes.
Okay. I think we've got ourselves a smart fellow over here. Yeah, I think we do. I think we've got a smart fellow. Maybe a night down in the clink will make him think a little straighter. I think that might be true. And they start to flank around. Like you could see the 2 that were behind begin to sort of flank out at this point. I think, Mr. Jinzo, it's best if you come with us.
Am I under arrest?
More of a suspicion.
Are you
Would you
sure?
like to do?
They know where I live. I have to comply.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could talk. You could try to talk yourself out of it. You want to come up with an excuse, and then we make a roll and we see how it goes. You could do that, but like for now, they're going to take you. So I mean, really, your 2 choices are, well, 3 choices really. You could fight them, which you could run away, which like as you said, you've already told them your address, or you could try to talk your way out of it and then make a roll maybe.
Just my persuasive is my worst stat, so it's not going to go well.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
But
You give it a try.
The
Oh,
audience, take a plus
Give it a
on
try.
the audience, and maybe the dice will roll
Aaron.
with you. I mean, you rolled
Aaron.
that 20 last time, so like.
You've got this. You can take him. You can take him.
I can
No,
definitely take
you
him,
can
but that's
talk
not
your
something
way
I
out.
want to do.
Definitely take him.
No,
You can talk your way out.
It's a whole squad of vets. But you know what? You're the underdog.
Townwatch
You got this.
They look very capable.
Tell him to go chat with Father Salvola. Like he.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just do whatever I can say to get them to clear my name. Speak with the father. Like, I don't know if they want to. He's a heretic, but
Okay.
others can
Okay.
vouch for me.
I'll tell you what. Just give me a persuasive roll. Roll it flat, and this is really just to get them to take you back to Sarvola and see if you can get as opposed to anything else.
Griffin
And when
just
you-
gave a bunch of bits.
To
Use-
you long.
use them.
He doesn't know. That's not long. That's not long style.
I'll
Come
get
on.
1 extra. Why not?
Oh,
6 better than 5?
Look
There we
at
go.
you.
Oh, Long must be concerned. He's using
Oh my
audience bits.
goodness. Long using bits? What?
Go to jail again.
Yeah,
Ooh,
they need it. I got 2.
You rolled a
Wow.
2.
All right.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go have a conversation with Father Salvo. And if he says you're on the level, then maybe we don't gotta go to the clink after all. Why don't you come with us? And they nonetheless kind of like 4 of them around you. Like you get surrounded. And you can tell like they're a little jumpy and they're eyeing you down. But they start escorting you away from the window where Madjac and Gwydion just dove in with a stolen body of one of the attackers. So we'll say, Jinzo, from now, you're gonna be escorted back to the mission station without them having noticed it. Okay. In the cellar, we've got Madjac, we've got Gwydion, and we've got this bound individual. You only took the one, right? You only took the. I think you only took the one.
Just
Okay.
the one.
Okay, so you pull back the robe and you see dusty, sandy hair of a man, maybe his 20s or so, late 20s. You can see dirty face, a little bit of a scruff of beard, these sort of kind of dark blue eyes. Has the look of, of an Ambrian, but probably maybe not somebody of a particularly high affluence. But he just kind of looks up at you too with a steely gaze and says nothing. He just kind of stares at you like he's a tough guy.
Madjac turns and looks at Gwydion. Iron Eye, you never knew me before I came to Thistlehold. So you're going to see some things here. I need you to not interfere with my work. If you think you can't handle that, then you might want to leave.
This guy tried to burn innocent people.
I knew you had it in you, Iron Eye. Madjac turns back to this guy, and he tears a strip off of his shirt, and he shoves it in his mouth, so he's gagged. And then he looks closely at him, and he puts his thumbs over this young man's eyes and closes his eyelids, and then just presses in enough on the eyeballs that the kid feels the orbs shift within the socket.
Okay, and you hear like, but it's like you can tell he's definitely restraining himself. He's probably, I would also probably say he's older than Madjac. Like I think he's probably older than both of you in terms of his age.
Excellent.
But he's,
And as Madjac is pushing in, he says, "My friend, you are at a fork in your life. Down one fork, you will answer all of my questions, truthfully and completely, without provocation. and then I will walk away, and you will remain under guard while I verify everything that you say. And if you are honest, you will leave here within the week with only that limp as a reminder of this night's work. But before we continue our conversation, you must first understand what you woke in me tonight. You see, I am a child of Davokar. I was taught horror and pain at the hands of the elves beneath the dark bowers of the forest. They trained me from childhood to protect the Iron Pact and to guard against the intrusions of Ambrians like you as an Iron Sworn. And I learned my lessons well. Do you know what gift the Iron Sworn bestow upon an Ambrian that strays too far from the path, who defiles the great forest? They give that chosen Ambrian the penance of pain, and then they return them to this so-called civilized world so other fools can learn the hard lesson of suffering. I have learned this right, along with so many more. And I will tell you this so that you understand the second possible fork in your life. If you refuse to answer my questions or answer false, I will give you the gift of the penance of pain. Very early in this process, you will beg to answer my questions, but you need to understand this now. Once the ritual begins, it does not end. You will be the full penance of suffering, the full penance of pain. The penitent man never dares rise to his feet, so I will begin with your toes as I clip each one from your feet. But we cannot have you bleed out here. So I will fill buckets of burning coals, and I will shove your feet in there to cauterize the wounds. Of course, this will cause the muscles and tendons to shrivel and shrink and the bones to crack. And then I will pull them free, and the stubs of your feet will be all that remain. But a penitent man can never be allowed to rise to his knees, so I will take your other knee, so that you grovel upon your belly for every day of the rest of your life. Now, the elves taught me other lessons. They taught me that no enemy should ever be allowed to give birth to another generation of enemies. So your manhood will be tied off until it turns shriveled and gray, and then with a hot knife I will sever it from your body, so no seed of yours is spilled again. This you might think is enough, but no, because with your hands you could still raise weapons. And so I will take your fingers as I took your toes and bury your stumps in these buckets, so only clubbed, mangled, scarred flesh is left at the end of your arms. However, we know Ambrians, they have the gift of the word of Prios, and so we cannot allow that. Each tooth will be pulled from your head, and I will rip your tongue by its roots from your mouth, so you will never again speak to your loved ones. And last but not least, we cannot leave you with the eyes for which you may see and expose those of the Iron Sworn. So I will take a small metal wire and slowly insert it into your eyeballs. You will pass out from the pain at this point, but do not fear. As the wires are heated up, you will awaken screaming as the liquid in your eyes boil. I will try to keep you alive through this. You're young, you're strong, and you should survive. For once the penance of pain is delivered upon you, I will take this red sash that you claimed as your uniform as an arsonist and a terrorist, and I will stitch it into the flesh of your chest and back. And then we will cast you out into the street so you can crawl on these corrupted stumps, mewling and begging for help, and all those who conspired with you will see the true face of terror and know that if they choose to act in these manners within Thistlehold, they will find me one night, and I will find them. So now that you understand the two forks of your life, you will choose, and choose now. And then he pulls the gag out of his mouth.
So first of all, roll a d4 and take that much corruption. As everything you just did was pretty horrific. So go ahead and take 2 points corruption as that starts to come into you. And when you pull out the thing, he just spits a little bit and he just laughs. And he says, "You speak of penitence. You speak of being raised by the elves. You know nothing of penitence. All of that fancy talk. You can hurt me. You can kill me. You can do all of those things. But I act in the name of Prios. You act in the name of those creatures of the internal night. And the way you speak to an Ambrian just solidifies that you are nothing but an abomination, and you will get nothing from me. You will get nothing from me, not a whimper, not a word, nothing. There will be no satisfaction for you tonight, you disgusting creature. You disgusting filth. The warmth of Prios sees me. It does not see you. I see in your eyes a monster. I hear in your voice a monster. I will not tell a monster a single word. Put the gag in. Puncture my eyes. Flay my skin. I care not. You'll get nothing from me. Nothing.
And Madjac puts the gag back in, leans forward, kisses the young man on the forehead, and he goes, "That was the answer I was hoping for." He turns to Iron Eyes, he goes, "We don't actually have time for this, sadly." And then he takes his knife out and he jams it up through this kid's jaw and into his brain.
Roll another d4 and take that much more corruption. Okay.
Woo.
Right under the threshold, I think. You're up to
right
4
under the
right
threshold.
now. What do you think it sort of... So when I think of corruption, I don't necessarily think of it like something... I can think it's magic, but I also think it's like the idea of like the concept of corruption, right? So we know that Madjac has those eyes, right? He's got those eyes. But do you think like anything beyond just the attitude? Like, do you think anything happens? Like, does it actually manifest visually in any way beyond like obviously if somebody saw Witch Sight, they could see something happening with your... But do you think anything else, anything Gwydion might see?
I think, Gwydion, you would feel this kind of heat emanating off of Madjac's body, because he's got the gift of regeneration as well. So his body is already, a hyperactive engine. And as he moves closer and closer to embracing the Iron Sworn and what he's beginning to feel and see as his calling, I think we start to maybe see some additional physical manifestations of his dark blood, at least temporarily.
Okay. So you notice then, Gwydion, this sort of like he just kind of changes, right? Like Madjac changes, but it'll quickly fade. It'll quickly fade. Like whatever it was that was sort of seeping into him begins to dissipate. The body lays on the ground, the cellar. You can see blood beginning to pool. You are pretty sure you haven't been noticed. The guy didn't scream, didn't say anything like that. He just died. You know you have one other person back. But before we get to that, I want to get back to Jinzo really fast. As Jinzo, we come back to the site of this arson, and you can see that all the fire at this point is done. You can see the crowd has started to thin. You can see that Sarvola has sort of set up shop next to the other captain. And you can see like a few of his people, like his trusted people, are kind of watching him here and there. And then you notice, like, as the town watch comes up, like there's Dismas as well, who has probably just been like helping here or there with like the water brigade or whatever. And you also notice there is Atolia and Rowena, who have returned at this point. And now Atolia and Rowena, you see Jinzo coming up, and just Jinzo, and he is essentially being flanked by a bunch of town guards at this point. And as he walks up, is there anything that Atolia and Rowena are doing as you see Jinzo being escorted back to the site by these town guards?
Rowena, I believe that's your job again, I'm afraid.
Not this. Oh no, not this. And so Reina's
Good luck.
done quite a bit of walking, and so you kind of see her she's resting a little bit kind of heavier on her staff than she may usually, but she kind of rushes over towards Jinzo and the guards. Yes, excuse me, sirs.
Yes, ma'am. Can I help you, Waldo?
Yes. Has this man done something to be in your custody?
Well, as a matter of fact, he is a subject of suspicion. He was seen allowing one of the offenders to escape, and when we were going around canvassing the witnesses, we saw this man slink off into the alleyways without talking to one of us. And you can see that he appears to be, well, he's blight marked, as you can tell. And he kind of like, marks to it makes a motion to Jinzo's cheek.
Yes. We actually were here specifically to have a conversation with Father Sarvola, and I can attest to the bravery of this individual who is attempting to help Father Sarvola and to put the fires out. And there was a whole lot going on here, and I can only imagine that it was very frightening. But it is the job. No disrespect intended, of course, but I do not believe either of us are town guards. It is not necessarily our duty to detain anyone that has done misdeeds. So that is the responsibility of the town guard. And so the effort at the time was to help Father Savola and to put out the fire. And so my apologies if there was not enough effort towards detaining individuals.
Ma'am, are you saying you're vouching for this man?
Oh, yes. As Reina often uses many more words than are needed to get to a point. Yes. That is yes. I vouch for this man.
Testify on behalf of Order Madjac that this man is not a criminal and not a danger to the citizens of the Thistlehold. Is that what you are saying?
Well, not all of Order Magica was here to witness the events, but I can speak to what I saw with my own eyes during these events. And yes.
You heard her. Order Magica is on my side. We're good to go here, yeah?
Oh man, I was about to give Rowena like a bonus, and then you have to speak up, and he kind of turns, and he's just looking at you.
There's been very generous people watching today. There's bonus dice.
Rowena,
please use them.
Rowena, make a persuasive. I will say, we'll do persuasive +2. Reasonable argument. You got Order Magica on your side. Like, you have the robes and stuff like that. I know you're not particularly high in the hierarchy, but nonetheless, like, you have the robes. You have the look.
Yeah, I tried to make the point of, like, it's the guard's duty to detain individuals, not
Sometimes I don't know
Mikey.
when I should interrupt you because I know you're rambling. I'm like, how long should I let it ramble before I raise my hand? Okay.
So I'm actually fine because it was a persuasive +2 and I rolled exactly a 12. So
Okay.
that is a success.
What's your name, if I might ask?
Rowena.
Rowena of Ordo Magica. I see. Well, Madam Rowena of Ordo Magica, we release into your custody Master Jinzo. I expect he shall not become a part of any additional criminal activity or come to the attention of the town guard again. Because if he does, we will come and speak with you.
I thank you very much for your attention to the safety of Thistleholds. I can't imagine how stressful the last few days have been, and now this. Just what is happening here? Just what is happening?
Well, here, what happened is you've got a heretic who shouldn't be within the walls, but our mayor decides to let him. And we've got some honorary folks who have been trying to let off steam. And that's what happened here. And good people almost got hurt because of it. So,
yes, people should definitely not let off steam in murderous kinds of ways. That is an excellent takeaway from this. Thank you. Thank you.
Perhaps you can speak with the heads of Ordo Magica, the chapter house, about perhaps convincing Mayor Nightpitch to no longer grant amnesty to a heretic just like this. We have enough dangers to worry about. We don't need this either.
Plenty of dangers. Plenty of dangers. Good day. Good day.
He looks up at the sky, which is quite dark. Good day. And they leave. Okay.
And Marina just sort of takes like the bottom of her quarterstaff and just sort of like taps Jinzo on the back of the leg. Like, what? Twice in one day? Twice in one day?
I'm not a criminal.
I know, but how did you manage to find yourself shackled twice in one day?
I had to cover for the others, Madjac and Gwydion.
Oh, dear.
Atolia will also wander up while you guys are having this conversation. And Jinzo, you won't necessarily recognize her right now because she does look different. She's got red hair and different clothes. But, well, that was a load of bollocks. I have a feeling that it's a good thing that you were there, Rowena, and not me, because I probably also would have gotten into a bit of a fight with these.
I'm sorry, is this your friend, Rowena?
Oh, this is Atolia. This is what she can do.
Yes, the changeling.
Yes. There we are,
Yes.
Jinzo.
Yes, Atolia, though, you were very correct. Those guards did not seem particularly open of mind when it comes to the diversity and inclusion of Thistleholds at this particular moment in time. It appears the fire is, of course, Father Sarvola's fault, and not the fault of those individuals that sought to burn down this here mission house. We should probably see what we can do.
It almost makes you wonder if they're one and the same, you know, the guards and the people that burn down places.
That is a very interesting point. Jinzo, we actually followed them, and we followed them separately, and they both went to the same place. So we have an address for where they went to after their nefarious deeds.
Yeah,
Good
you
work.
said the other two were in an alleyway somewhere.
Yeah, they're talking to one of the captors.
So we cut to that. There's a dead capture in the ground. There's Madjac and Gwydion. What do you guys do after that? What do you guys do? You know you have one other back there, unless the town watch has taken him, but you know there's another one. What do you
Madjac turns to Gwydion. He's like, all right. He leaves the knife up in this guy's head, and he takes his hands, the dead guy's hands, and he puts them on the blade. Unbind his feet. We'll take the gag. We're going to slip out. If any of the watch sees us, we tell them that we were chasing one of the arsonists who was limping through the alleyway and we lost him somewhere in here. If they find him, or when they find him, it'll look like he was afraid that he was going to get caught and killed himself. You're muted.
Jeremy, you're muted.
Gwydion is taken aback by the scene. Or I forgot to click unmute. All right.
Or both. Why not both?
So fine. I don't think this guy get anything less than what he deserved, but I will say, if the other one's still back there, part of me respects where you're going with this. I do. But I can see your eyes flaring. I can feel the heat coming off of you. I don't want to see you doing this again because it worries me.
You're right. I mean, I hate these sun-worshipping Ambrian pricks almost as much as I hate the elves. And it just makes me beyond furious for them to see them attack someone like Father Sarvola, who's literally only trying to help the poorest and most needy people.
I couldn't agree more. Hey, I'm going to show up and kick you out of your fucking home, and then I'm going to be a piece of shit to you. But as long as I say the right words at the right time in the right place, God will absolve all of my sins, and I could continue to be a piece of crap to you. I get it. I do. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't want you turned into a fucking freak.
No, you're right. You're right. You guys handle the next one if he's still there. I'll keep a step back, but please, Iron Eye, for the friendship that we have. I know I give you a lot of hard times, but let's not bring Rowena and Atolia up to speed on what happened here. I know you understand what it is to be the kind of warriors.
This guy was scared that he was going to get caught.
Exactly. I appreciate it.
I don't. Okay, look, I don't like to lie, but I'm fine with not talking.
That's fine. I'll handle it. If they ask questions, I'll handle it. How's that?
I don't think he'll get anything less than what he deserved.
No, he definitely he got less. He did get less than what he deserved. He deserved the penance of pain, but I didn't have the time or the resources to do it here.
But I think you also deserve a chance to let some of this.
Yeah, we need to get out into the forest. We need to get out away from this bloody city and away from all of these strictures and.
I agree.
But we just need to sneak out of here quiet.
What's worth? You're a greedy son of a bitch, but you're honest about it, and I respect that.
Hey, the Thalers. If we're gonna be here, we got to make a living, right?
I get you.
All right.
So we're just gonna unbind these. You're doing your weird, creepy thing. And then we're just going to step away from this.
Hey, could you go ahead, Gwydion, and roll me a discreet test as the two of you leave the premises and make your way back? We'll just say, Gwydion, you're the worst of the two. So go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to discreet, specifically.
It's a shame.
There's bonuses.
I didn't use one, and I didn't need it.
He's got it. He's bad at it. So Jeremy's got it. It's locked. It's locked in.
Of course. Yeah. Just let me roll the stuff that I'm terrible at. I'll be fine. Exactly. Let me be discreet and diplomatic. I'm fine.
Gwydion, you're about to climb out of the window when you hear the sounds of voices and footsteps, and then you see people passing through the alley, and you stop. You wait until you hear the voices disappear, and then you climb out. Madjac, you follow. You leave whatever you want to leave. You take whatever you want to take. That's fine. And you make it back, and you can see there's Jinzo, there's Rowena, and Atolia. You're still in your other shape, right? And you see somebody standing next to them, talking to them. You see that the guards have now left Jinzo alone. You can see Sarvola and some of his people have kind of made a little bit of a wall around the other captive. And they that looks like they're trying to prevent the town guard from getting to them. You can see they're kind of just blocking it off here and there, and that's the scene as you come up. And I'll say, Madjac, you're starting to calm down a little bit, come back down as the blood rush basically starts to fade, and we are back outside of the ruins of the mission station, and all of you are together. So, what now? What happens now?
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Chase down the other captive.
We chase the other ones down too. We follow them. We know where they are. We have an address.
Atolia will look towards the magic plant that held the one guy.
So... I think, if I recall correctly, the one that had the busted knee is the one that Madjac took. The other one had the plant, and that's the one that looks like Sarvola's people took. And so they have kind of like pulled him out and they have him. So like they have him kind of under guard. So doesn't mean you guys can't talk to them, but it seems like they don't want to hand them over to the town watch.
We ought to at least say hi to Father Sabola and double check on the situation.
Agreed. Agreed. And
I don't
the one
know
that
that
it's-
going over that direction.
Now, Jinzo, you've said that what did you say the other two were doing in the alleyway?
Right, they were talking to him. Madjac, how'd it go?
He was uncooperative.
Did you learn anything?
We only learned that he was an absolute zealot to the flaming balls of Prios, and was not willing to speak on any other topic other than to tell me what an utter piece of shit I was, which we already know, so no new revelation.
At least
Well,
we know
that's-
Prios is after him.
Well,
Or
yeah,
followers, at least.
Well,
makes sense. The devout followers of Prios would come after a heretic priest of Prios.
we should. Well, that's unfortunate
It's-
that he was not helpful. Hopefully, the other one will be helpful, though.
We ought to take a look at that. But this did seem quite coordinated for just the few nights that it's been since the pit opened up. I do wonder about if it's not been something that they'd had on the back burner for a bit longer.
Oh, I'm sure they've had this planned ever since
Mhm.
Father Sarvona was allowed to stay within Thistlehold.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't make much sense because Father Sarvola doesn't do very much to harm anyone else.
No, but he is a declared heretic, and he's allowed to stay within the city. So
Well, I must say that
you know these frickin' Ambrians, they'll find somebody to hate any
That's
chance
fair
they
enough.
get.
it was
Sorry,
unfortunate
Rowena.
how the
In
town
Jinzo.
guards seemed
Oh
to.
yeah.
The town guards were very quick to blame him for being a heretic, and that just excuse the fire as just being, oh, everyone has some. I got to burn off some steam, so let's set
Hell,
the
the guards
mission
are-
house ablaze.
Guards are
That was-
probably in on it.
Yeah.
That's what.
He's
that's what
different.
I
He's
That is
told
what I
other.
said.
leaned towards
It's
as well. Yeah.
That's what it is. Why the fuck do you think I was on night watch for nearly a week last week, looking out for assholes trying to vandalize the fucking tavern? It's because nobody gives a shit if they go and vandalize like one of the barbarian taverns, because we're different. Servola's different. Different people get
There's-
fucked.
There's
That's the
a
way of the world.
hole. There's a hole in the middle of the town. Are there not more important things to deal with than whether or not someone
No,
may be
that
a
It's all
heightens it
about the
up.
opportunity.
In a time of
Or
crisis,
not.
you get close to your own and you say, fuck those other guys, take care of your own. It
This
just
is-
makes it worse.
very
The world
was-
is shit, Rowena.
The small-minded and cowards will always attack the weak. They can't do anything about that hole. They're terrified of what's in there, but they know they can take out an old heretic priest with fire, so that's what
Mhm.
they attack.
well. We can do something about that last bit. We've got some information, and there's a person over there, so we should go see what's happening. Yes.
Certainly.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so when you head over, you can see Servola is talking to the guards that you were talking that escort Jinzo over, and you all start to hear as you approach like the tail end of the conversation, and you just Servola's just like, no, it looks as though everyone else who is responsible seems to have gotten away. We've given you all of the descriptions we possibly could. Thank you for responding so quickly. Prios, bless you. And right, thank you, Father Sarvola. If there are any additional problems, we are just a hair's breadth away. And he kind of motions to the south, because off to the south is where the town watch barracks is. And they did help, sort of, when they first arrived, but they've, bare minimum. And then they start to leave. Now, all of you could notice that Sarvola literally, like, because he has this group of people blocking that other captive, specifically mentioned that, all the other ones got away. And so he just kind of kept this captive behind. And he sees the group of you show up. Probably doesn't recognize Tolia, but he recognizes the other ones, including Gwydion, who came and got him, and Jinzo, who came and got him. And he turns and he's like, thank you very much. I am in your debt. I do not even know who you are, but I appreciate the assistance that you lended us here tonight. I only wish there were more like you.
It's a Tolia.
A Tolia.
From Blackmore. We have, he gave us some bread with my mother sometimes.
Oh, Tolia is a young woman. She's and I kind of holds up a hand. Like, no,
I don't believe I've been that size for quite some time. Thank you.
He's an old, he's like in his 40s or 50s. So he's like an older man for this era. He's an old man, right? He's like, oh no. I've seen you far more recently. And your hair's different.
I guess I had a period of dyeing it.
Well, everyone goes through phases. I am unfortunately not in the hair dyeing phase, as he runs a hand over his completely bald head. No. But as he like kind of chuckles, you see like the chuckle kind of fades as he looks back in like half of the building. I don't know what we're going to do, but you can all see like right next to him, the little kid is like running his hand through his hair, and he's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. And he's just kind of mimicking him here and there. Is there something I can do for you? I am, as I said, in your debt. If not for you, myself, or Alon might have been harmed.
You are always welcome in Blackmore, even if you're not. But I fear if you leave here, you're never going to be able to get back in, considering the guards' attitude.
Oh, there are plenty of guards who are perfectly supportive, and there are plenty of those who are not. Such is the way of the world. Simply because they have on the uniform does not make them hateful towards me. It's what's in their heart that makes them hateful. As for Blackmore, you're not wrong. It is a place that is in great need of charity. However, times are very troubling these last few days. And although he looks back at his station, although violence has erupted here, I wonder if I go to Blackmore, I would just draw even more there, and there aren't nearly as many Night Pitch's men to aid us should something befall that poor town. No. I shall have to find somewhere else within the Palisades to hide for now.
And the person you've managed to hold on to and away from the guards?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Is just a concerned citizen who happened to bang his head.
Well, if you happen to wake him up at any point in time and get a little bit more information, we're currently figured we'd step in and give you a hand here. It's the right thing to do in a way.
He looks a little sheepish. And he says to you, well, the quarters were not fully burnt down. We were going to take him in there and have a conversation, but perhaps you all might want to turn. Do not harm him, though. Just because these Cretans came and brought this violence to my home does not mean that I, too, will commit violence to get what I need. There is a better way.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. We would, but we have some folks here that would be very good at asking questions, but we would not.
Madjac's going, I don't know what you're talking about, man. No sense. Right over my head.
If that's the rules of your house, that's fine.
Madjac
Well-
turns to Rowena and goes, Rowena, you said you found where these arsonists fled to. Maybe Father Sarvona will recognize the address and maybe he'll know something about the organization these people come from, or something about that location.
Oh yes, it wasn't just me. It was Atolia. We both followed one each, and they went to the same place. So it must be a gathering point because they both went there. And so she'll pull out her notebook, and she has the little drawing of the cross streets and the address, and like she just sort of like shoves it into Father Sarvola's face. This is where we followed them to.
Oh, well,
A little
very
bit more
good work.
discretion, Rowena.
Wonderful work, the two of you. Fantastic. And you were not seen.
Not as far as we could tell, no.
Don't.
Excellent.
I didn't even see her. I don't think they saw her. I don't think they saw me. I'm pretty quiet.
As to the area of town, well, there's no... seems fairly nondescript. As far as I know, it's a very quiet portion of town, older homes, near the Eastern Gate. It's... I'm afraid I don't know whether or not was it a living quarters? I presume that neighborhood is...
Yes, it appeared. They were quite surreptitious to go in one door and hop a fence, and so they definitely did not want to be followed back to wherever it was. But perhaps in the light of day, we might be able to inquire.
There is a parishioner who lives in that neighborhood, who's not here this eve. Belletto is his name. He is rough around the edges, but a good heart. Perhaps he might know something of the area. You can mention my name if that helps.
Oh, okay. And
Where exactly does he live? Or is he here right now?
I'm sorry, he was not here this eve. And he'll write down like a street number or a house number and like a street number, which is basically like a half a block away or so. It's like right nearby. It's in the neighborhood basically.
You do not think him possible of involvement in such a thing?
Belletto is, he is a curmudgeonly sort, and he takes to the drink far too frequently, but no, I do not think he means me harm.
Oh, thank goodness. But perhaps when he is out in his drink, he might have ears to his neighbors.
Perhaps. No.
And Rowena will just sort of look back to Gwydion and Jinzo and Madjac. Are you fellows interested in talking too?
Hi, since apparently you lost the other one, or he was able to run away from you.
Okay.
Madjac leans over to Atolia and whispers into her ear, I killed him.
I figured as much.
Okay.
Wondering when you'd admit to it.
Let's keep that between us.
All right.
So do you take advantage of that separate room and try to talk to this other one? Okay.
Sure.
So we'll say Sarvola, after what you all have done for him, is willing to step aside. Again, a handful of his more devoted are kind of around him. And we're talking like half a dozen people who probably are still around him. They're very worried about his safety. You can see a lot of them are inviting Sarvola to this home, that home, and he is like denying. He's like, I don't want to bring this down on you. I don't, left and right. But you come into the other room, and you go ahead and you go over to it's like a bedroom area, and you come in and you can see like there's a bed for Sarvola, and then there's like a smaller bed for the kid, all very sparse and Spartan. There is damage on the walls and such, but the roof is still overhead. It doesn't look like it's in the verge of collapsing, but it's also probably not the most livable place currently. But you bring him in, and you have a little bit of privacy. So how do you want to handle this?
Take first go at him. If you guys want to wait outside.
Sure.
All right. Don't worry, I won't hurt him. Like Farbola said.
All right.
Okay. So Jinzo, you go in by yourself? Or does someone go in with him? Okay. So Jinzo, you go in and you see a short brown-haired man, probably a little bit older than the other one, so probably like maybe early 30s or so. You can see like does actually have a beard, but it's not like neatly groomed. It's a little scraggly, but it's definitely hanging off the chin. And he's got all these little cuts and such on him from where the vines of Atolia have like this here and that here. They're not like major wounds, but there's like all these tiny little cuts like everywhere. And he just looks up at you and he's just like, "Do your worst, mate. I'm not going to say nothing. Just let me go. I'll tell you what, let me go right now. There's a window right there, and I can have 5 feather for you in the morning."
I don't want your money. I don't want your words. Let's have a little chat.
Oh, okay.
You're safe here. No one's going to hurt you.
I'm safe here. No one's going to hurt me. Okay. Where did Monty go, huh? Where'd Monty?
Sorry, I don't know their name.
Oh, the one that the 2 of your friends took away and then came back, and lo and behold, Monty's not with them. How interesting. You think I don't know what happened? Come on now. Let's cut away with the pretenses, okay? You're going to ask me questions. I'm not going to answer nothing. And then you're going to go out that room and you're going to feel all embarrassed in front of your friends. Just let me go. I can even conk you on the back of the head, say I got away from you, save you a little bit of face at least.
We already know where y'all at. Give him the address.
And you see his face just suddenly like freeze. That's not our address.
I'm sure it's not, but come on. You said your father was Prios, right?
Of course I am. Devout
Yeah, so
as
am
can
I.
be.
We're in the heart of a heretic.
If you were a true follower, you wouldn't be helping out that monster out there. You wouldn't be helping him. He's the reason that we have a John Ho in the streets of Thistlehold.
That's the first I hold. How'd he cause that?
You think it's not punishment? Thistlehold's been harboring a heretic, harboring folks like that big friend of yours, the barbarian, right? And all sorts of others. Don't say you've probably seen an elf or two on the streets. Not often, but they're here. They're here. I'll hear the rumors. You know that's true. And Night Pitches, he's got his little concubine there. She's a witch too. Paints her face all like that. Yeah, you know. You've lived here long enough to know.
You're right, I do know.
Yeah. And finally, Prios has had enough of it. Only the pure. And this is not a pure place. We will cleanse this place by fire. We will make it pure. Join us, brother. If you truly believe, join us. Come out the window with me.
I was waiting for you to ask. I'm going to join you. Just tell me more about your mission.
Okay.
Wow.
I love it.
Okay.
Wow.
This goes.
Impressive.
Give me a persuasive test.
Oh, God.
Remember,
Of course, it's going to be persuasive. Do you have like some sort of
discreet about it? I'm not really telling the truth.
discreet?
How about strong or resolute?
Well, no, definitely not strong. Strong is literally strength, and you're not a physical
Okay.
resolute.
Like discreet for the infiltration.
I'll take discreet since you're. It really should be persuasive. Like I'm
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just
sorry.
go
It really
persuasive.
should be
You're asking for
persuasive.
Grab
Yeah.
an extra.
I'll take an extra just in case it hits a 6.
I love it though. It's such a funny idea. What a,
Oh, that's funny. It's so
Another
bad. It's my
nat
second
20.
one.
Oh,
my
goodness. He looks at you and you see his eyes kind of narrow. And you notice that like they're looking at your eyes, but then you see them move, and it's a movement that you've come to be familiar with. He's staring at your scar, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you've already been taken by the Eternal Night. You've managed to blend in and fool those around. You're not gonna fool me. No, I don't think so.
Not pure enough. Well, I've had my wood and you've had yours. Enjoy your time here.
Okay, so Jinzo steps out. Anyone else want to take a shot? It's true.
Does Jinzo tell us what happened?
For sure, I'll convey what happened.
We go, well, this is not going to go well, but I can give it a shot.
That'd be a good idea. Jinzo,
We already know where they were going. And I'm worried, like, if we try and do too much here, we're probably just going to kind of ruin Cervolo's whole thing. And, like, we know where the fuck they were going back to.
That's a good point. Maybe we just take him in their house or wherever they're at.
We did promise to be respectful of his space, but we could try again.
We gave a promise. When you give a promise, you keep it.
We just need to make sure that Father Sorvola and his men know to keep this one here, since he now knows that we know where they're congregating.
Jinzo, you told him we had the address?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Is there a problem with that?
Fuck.
I am not one much for interrogation. Is this a tactic that one uses?
Of course.
You always give the person you're interrogating all the information.
Well, I know, but you can build rapport with them by finding common ground, and sometimes that requires you to give up information to get information. But it was a good ploy.
Oh, should someone else take a run at him, as it were, before we give up on this?
I mean, I can try to scare him now that we know what frightens him, but I don't know if it'll work.
Did he seem frightened?
Well, he was disgusted by Jinzo's corruption. And Madjac takes off his mask and shows his eyes. He goes, "I'm clearly corrupted. So when I pry his jaws open and I cut my thumb and I threaten to pour my blood down his throat
Then
corrupt
you get
him."
your dark blood.
What words are you using in this place of...
Yeah. That's so horrible. I love it.
That seems like am I the only other one that he might possibly speak with?
I think you should probably go in.
I mean, I can talk to him if you want.
They seem a bit
You don't have to go in one by one. Any number of people, it's a big enough room to support more than one person.
Marina would like to give it a shot. And if anyone that we don't think he's going to immediately dismiss
he'll hate me
wants to come with.
I'll come with you. I'll be good cop and you be bad cop.
I'd be curious to see I'll go in as well just to double check to see if he recognizes a spark of this, because I'll try to shift a little bit closer to Anadea. I can't copy her, my skills aren't good enough, but I'll try to mimic a little bit more from what I remember from her.
He'd probably recognize Jeremy and my character, right? Because we're the ones who took his friend away.
He knows.
Yeah. And I would say, Madjac, one of the things that you did get from the other guy was that, like, he like literally referenced you as like you're a creature of the eternal. Like, you talked about like being raised by the elves and being part of it, and like he like and like on the one hand that's probably intimidating, but on the other hand you probably just solidified like that he wasn't going to say anything to you. So, and that's something that the like this person in here probably doesn't have. He didn't hear you. He didn't hear anything that. So like you're dealing with fanatics or devout or however you want to put it, right? And so like if it's like a creature of the night that's trying like his mortal diametrically opposed opposite, like they're like, just kill me, like there's no way I'm gonna give that over. But it's possible there's other ways to get that info. So that might have been just the thing that kind of solidified the other one's righteousness at that point.
Okay, so maybe
So-
I shouldn't be in the room. He doesn't need to see like some like heathen dirt worshiper riling him up.
I will see what I can do, but if nothing else, we are not devoid of leads.
Gwydion,
Okay.
what might be useful is if you can grab like maybe a little bit of a costume change for Jinzo and Rowena. I don't think Rowena will be untouched if she keeps walking around in all her uniforms.
I would say that Rowena can just. I would imagine that this being a mission house, there's probably like a cloak or something here that she might be able to.
It's a mission
you know,
house
like
that just got mostly destroyed by fire. So the only thing really left is his sort of like his living quarters.
Oh, that's right.
Which you've just put the guy in. So that's really all you got.
Okay, I've got my cloak.
Yeah,
I'm just
Portal Magic.
doing
I mean,
as
it's a respected Ambrian
It is.
organization. So
Absolutely.
All
You're
right.
scholars. So people know you as
Okay.
scholars and wizards and such. Okay. Rowena goes in. Anyone else go with her?
I'll go in looking as I do.
Gotcha. Okay. So you go in and backup teams arrived.
Hello. Good evening.
Well, hello there. Everyone's apparently got like an Australian accent tonight. I don't know what's going on. It's like stuck in my voice now. So,
works.
okay,
yes,
go ahead.
can I
Lay it on me.
get
What's
you
your strategy? Are you
water?
good cop? What was the
Well, I
other
have
one?
a water. Does that make me good guard?
So far, you're better than the other one. He was just bumbling cop.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And she'll kind of give him some water.
He takes it. Now, I'm assuming his hands are bound, so you just kind of feed it to him.
Yeah.
Very nice of you there. Things they say about Aldo, I never really believed him after all. You're decent folk.
Of course.
God-fearing
So-
and the like.
Yes. We're always interested in getting to the bottom of things, though. Getting to the bottom of why things happen.
Okay.
That brings me in front of you right now. There's been
I see.
so many things that have been going on in Thistlehold, and tonight is the night that we're burning down the mission house. We're trying to comfort our brothers and sisters in the horror that has befallen Thistlehold, and we come out with torches and fire.
Sarvola had many a month to leave, and he didn't. He stayed here. No more. If he would have left months ago, maybe the sinkhole doesn't happen. Maybe the 100 of innocent folk aren't dead. Maybe the destruction of Thistlehold doesn't transpire. No, we tried to do it peacefully, and that didn't work.
And so the theory then is that Father Sarvola's presence in Thistlehold caused the sinkhole? Is that that is the theory?
I told you, friend, everything, but here is the shortened version. For too long, Thistlehold has given shelter to undesirables, those impure, those who do not worship Prios, not in the way that Prios demands to be worshipped. We've got goblins sweeping the floors. We've got ogres making armor. There are barbarians everywhere on the streets opening up businesses. These heathens. No. And Sarvola. Sarvola wants to welcome them with open arms. No. I think we've seen where that's led.
So you're saying that has led to the sinkhole and the
It
death?
was punishment. Punishment it was.
Where does it end, though? Is Sarvola leaving Thistlehold sufficient to address these ills?
That's the first step.
Followed by...
Anyone else who is, well, anybody else who welcomes corruption and darkness into the streets, they are not welcome here. But that's not you. She's got nothing to worry about.
That
He
is
gives you like a
absolutely
wink.
not. That is absolutely not me. No, that is not me. But it seems like you had a fairly long list there of who that might include. That sounds like a lot of fires in lovely Thistlehold.
Listen, lady, if we wanted to kill Sarvola, if that was our primary objective, do you think the old man would be walking around right now?
It does sound that you are quite intent on your goals, so you did not mean to... This was an act of frightening.
Did any of us pull a weapon on you or yours?
No, I...
Did any of us stab?
No.
Any of the folks running away?
No.
Listen, sometimes you have to get your hands dirty. You can't always be hiding away in libraries, flipping through books. Sometimes you have to do the hard thing. Did anyone die tonight? Did we kill anyone?
I did not see any, no. No, you did
Right.
not.
So
But you were trying to send a message, though, it seems.
Indeed we did. Indeed we did.
Well, and sharing that message with me has solidified exactly what that message is.
Well, I'm glad we've had this chat. Now, do whatever it is that you all got to do with me, that you feel that you have to do with me. Kill me, throw me to the wolves, put me in the penitentiary, whatever it
Actually,
has to be.
I believe you're about to get a lot of lectures on Savola. Well, no, not Savola. From Savola.
Well, it's fine. I've heard worse.
Well, enjoy the next month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months.
You really think that old man's going to spend the next 6 months proselytizing to me? No, he's got so many other things he's got to concern himself with. And I hate to tell you, but there's more to this movement than just me. I am just one in an army. So,
Why, you don't really matter at all. You're nothing.
yeah,
You mean nothing.
I've served my purpose.
Yeah, so you'll remain here for however long, and no one will
Oh.
come looking for you.
Oh, no one said that. No one said that. I've got a lot of friends. I'm a very affable man.
I also seem to have run away. Don't think they'll be coming to visit at all. I think it'll just be you here for a good long time.
They're gonna come to visit, don't worry. I'll introduce
Maybe
you,
they
don't
will,
worry.
maybe they won't. I think we'll be a bit busy ourselves, but I'm sure we'll come visit you again while you're waiting here.
Nah. Boy, I'll tell you. I thought the other one was more intimidating because he was at least ugly as sin. The two of you are just like sing-songing about. Listen,
I'm not interested in intimidating you. If I wanted that, I'd have my friend come in.
I
I'm
see,
merely
I see.
stating things as how they're going to be.
Well, exactly. And
So the two of you,
And you ain't seem to
are
got no
telling
friends
me
here no more.
that it's been an hour. Once
Yeah.
word spreads, don't worry. They come for me. They're
Nah,
all gonna come for me.
no. You don't matter. You said yourself you've done your duty. Why
No,
would they
it's
come?
true. Because the job's not done if Savala doesn't leave.
You failed. You didn't even do it.
Okay, lady, what are you trying to do here? Because it sounds like you just got diarrhea of the mouth right now. You're not
What
trying
do
to
I-
intimidate me.
No.
You're not trying to ask me questions.
No.
Are you just sitting here just sing-songing around? I can take a quick nap right now and probably
enjoy
be
it.
more productive than this conversation.
All right.
Well, I think, I mean, it sounds like there's more to the plan. You have a part of the rest of that plan, or this was not just start a fire and leave? There's step A and B and C, and you're crucial to step B and C?
No, he doesn't mean nothing. I don't
I'm
think he has any info for
conversation
us.
short. You guys haven't asked him anything, and you've been nothing but chatty and nice to him. So, like, I don't see any reason. So at this point, I think the two of you, this tactic that you're taking is like unproductive. Like, it's not going to get anything from him because he's just like, okay, you're just talking to me. So yeah, it doesn't seem like he's like, this is really going to go anywhere. Like you almost get the sense that he's kind of like wasting your time. If that means anything.
Yeah. All right. Rowena, let's just leave him here. I don't think nothing's gonna happen here.
Feel free to want to share your name at least. So if there's any
I doubt
credit to be taken for the events that they go to, credit goes where credit is due and all that good stuff.
He just like leans back and just looks up at the ceiling at this point, and he just starts whistling.
Come on, Rowena, let's head out. We got a busy night ahead of us, and this man, if we wanted to, we could have let Madjac in, but I don't think we want to do violence in this area, so we'll just leave him. It's not a matter.
Okay. Door opens up. You see the two of them come out. They say all that, no violence. Clearly no more information out of him. And you hear whistling, like just cocky whistling coming from inside the door as the door closes.
They have plans. This was not their sole plan. They have very and I'm not sure if Father Seville is kind of part of this debrief, but there seems to be a group of them that very clearly put blame on the sinkhole and everything that's happened here on not following Prios clearly enough and allowing different types of individuals, and she sort of, gestures towards Gwydion and Natalia and into...
Right, the people that are different. How dare they? Oh, God.
He seems to think that he will not be here long, that others may be here to come rescue him, and this is definitely the first of many steps.
Okay.
Well, obviously, Father Sarvola, you need to go to ground somewhere else, and you need to take your prisoner with you. Nobody can know where you've gone, and you should probably keep your head down for a few days while we look into this. That means no ministering to the poor, to the sick, until we get back with you.
You see a grimace comes over his face, and he's just, you want me to hide?
For a few days. You hide for a few days while we try to get to the bottom of this, and then you can return to your ministry. Or you stay out in the open, and perhaps you don't live past tomorrow, and then your ministry dies. I'm only asking for a few days.
And others may die along with it. This is a wide net that they are casting.
He thinks about it. Big old forehead crinkles. He looks down at the kid who is like playing around what looks like a coin purse. You see he's like undoing the drawstring and kind of pulling up a token or a coin or two and kind of shaking it a bit and kind of looking around here and there. He looks up at like Gwydion, gives him a big grin, and he looks up at Sarvola and gives him a big grin. And then Sarvola is like, 3 days. That's not his voice. I'll give you 3 days. I cannot get like Australia out of my head. Apparently, I made fun of him on like I got it in Monday. Like we were doing the jokes about Frank, but like, now it's stuck in my head now. Okay, but yeah, he agrees. 3 days, he'll go to ground. He's got some followers. If you don't want to know where he is staying, then they won't tell you.
No. Well, at the end of 3 days, like we'll give a cutout in one of the areas around the city that he can drop a message, and we'll drop messages there. It's kind of a cutout blind drop.
Okay. He'll mention Adovacar, the tavern, and he says that the owner there
who Gwydion you know, Verima. She bears no love for the righteous heretics, or not the righteous Prios followers and such. She's barbarian. She doesn't care one way or the other. So that would probably be a good place to try to get a message. At the
and I would
least.
suggest, Father, if you've got any changelings among your parishioners who you trust, use that individual to ferry messages so that they never appear like the same person twice. These people have clearly been watching you for a while. They may know your inner circle. I'd hate to see any of your other people be put at risk.
He thinks on it a minute. We don't have any changelings that I'm aware of within. And he kind of looks at the group that's been staying with him, concerned with him, and not counting Atolia, just like his others. But we have some that can help us, that can go without being seen. And it's at that point, Madjac, that you see, like, kind of hiding amongst the group is a goblin. And you recognize the goblin, in fact, because you guys actually helped the goblin outside of Dovakar a while back. So not quite the same thing, but often if they're moving at the right pace, doing the right thing, they can kind of go unseen. Okay. So.
And take that prisoner with you and don't let him speak to anyone else.
We will. Thank you. Thank you all. Many would like you have perished today if not for you. You are righteous and good folk.
And he kind of holds up a hand in case anyone tries to protest you.
I mean that not as an insult. Only that I thank you.
That's fine. We'll measure the quality of your character by your kindness. I don't care what symbol you put on your door or what words you speak. You help these people, that's good enough.
He nods, but you could tell he's still a priest of Prios, so but he will still nod. Yeah, like he's not going but no, he will nod.
Yeah.
And then you could see him and his group kind of hustle off. At that point, they go into the bedroom, they get the guy, and he's like, "Oh, we going for a ride?" And then you hear him, like, his voice kind of get muffled as they stuff a gag in there and they figure it out. When you guys leave, when you guys like move out of there, you see they're like loading up the wagon that you, Madjac, and Atolia were standing on, and like kind of putting him at the bottom and dumping like sacks on top of him to hide him and everything, and they're kind of getting ready to leave. Okay, so what do you guys do from here? It's late at night. It's like midnight-ish or something like that. 11 o'clock, whatever. This is all probably taking place between the fire, between tracking stuff, the interrogations. It's probably been a couple hours, I would say.
Okay.
So what do you want to do?
We could take time to plan things, or we could take advantage of the fact that they probably don't know that we know where they are.
Yeah, the problem is they're going to have most of the town on their side. If we just storm in there, I don't know what that is going to do for us in the long term, other than get us kicked out of Thistlehold or put in the penitentiary. My thought is we go there, we set up a watch schedule, we find a good place to keep an eye on that building. Maybe for the next 12 hours, we note everyone who goes in, get a good description of them. And then we try so we can get an idea of the size and scale of the organization, at least at that location. And then maybe tomorrow night, we go in quiet and we see if we can get more information about what's going on.
And then we crack some skulls?
And then we crack some skulls.
We can probably talk to Balto about it and see if he won't let us observe from his windows, and also maybe get a little bit of gossip.
Yes, and we might want to leave someone here. So it sounded like he didn't think he was going to be here. It sounded as if he was very confident that he was going to be rescued. So we might want to stake out here and see if anyone, returns to the scene of the crime, as it were. But yes, I definitely don't think that they would expect anyone to be watching their movements, and taking a slow pace seems wise.
You all are aware that our own movements are being observed as well, right?
Yeah.
By whom?
Oh, I don't know.
Same people that would grab Dismas and shove a spear through his throat.
Not sure about that. There was a lady on a roof some time ago. What was that? I got a good look at her. She looked a little bit like this, but I can't quite make it properly. And I'll shift if we're in the building and discreet.
That was last night. You didn't really get a look at her face. You really just got to look at her clothes, which are kind of like brown, like dark brown leathers and such, and her basic body shape. So you could probably convey that, but that's about it. But like when you do it, when all of you look at it, very nondescript. Like, oh, just a woman in brown leathers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, other than the witches and Lysindra, I'm not aware of who else has been trying to keep eyes on us. But we either go to ground with the father or we try to get to the bottom of this. I don't think there's anything we can do about if somebody's watching us. We just have to be as discreet as possible.
So I can definitely either Atolia or I can lead the way. Do we think that someone should stay here, or do we think we should all stay over where we think their headquarters are?
We know where they all are. There's no reason to stay here.
Understood. Let us go on a stakeout.
Is that what we're doing? Where to go?
I would suggest we stick together, even though the building might get burned down.
Okay. So you guys are gonna head back to where Atolia, that building? Am I hearing this right? Okay.
Yeah, was Beltro near there, or was that?
There was Belto's address. Yeah. But he's a curmudgeon alcoholic, so we could probably look for a local bar.
It's pretty late, so it's possible he's there, Boleto. What I call him, Boleto, Barelto. No, I was wrong. Boleto the first time. Boleto, Baleto. It's getting late, so it's possible he could be at a bar. Possibly he could not be, but he's an older man. In terms of that area, taverns. There's Brew, which is right on the eastern square. So if you're looking at the Thistlehold map, I'll ping it for you. So where Eastern Square is, there is a bar called Brew, which is just a beer salon. It's run by Caglio and Suna. Possible they're still open. So you can give that a try.
Well, how about if you all want to look for this Mileto individual, how about we split our efforts and a couple of us stake out the hideout, so we can get an idea of movement in and out of the building, particularly now. I mean, the rest of them scattered. Based on what you said, the two you were following eventually came back here. It'd be great to get an idea how much movement in and out of this headquarters actually goes on overnight.
I agree with you on that.
Sounds good. I am fairly discreet.
Looking at your robes again.
Okay, so who's going where? So who's going to stake out this house, and who is going to Brew? Who is going somewhere else?
I would say Rowena would go to the house.
Okay. Who else is going to the house?
Madjac's probably a good one to do the observation as well, because he has the highest vigilance.
My vigilance is really high, and my persuasive is really high, so I can go either way, but I was thinking I would go to the house and keep an eye on things. But
I should really go with the side that needs to do more diplomacy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I am not particularly vigilant, though. I'm discreet, but not vigilant.
Well, it's good, because I am vigilant, but not discreet. So we'll even out.
Hey.
Perfect.
I'll go first, Brew.
Okay, so Jinzo and Gwydion are going to Brew. Rowena and Madjac are going to the house. Atolia?
I could go either way. I was going to go to the Brew, but I think if Jinzo's there, it's probably a little bit better as he's a little more local. I could go and do the observation as well then.
Yeah.
So
Jinzo, good luck with Gwydion.
you guys would know, as people who have been here, that
Diplomatic immunity.
Brew is a relatively rough tavern. That it can get a little rough at times, and that it's mostly like fortune hunters. So there's like the Rose, I think it's called the Rose Garden, which on the west, which is like where a lot of like the really unsuccessful fortune hunters go, like the desperate ones who are just begging to get anything done. And then there's these folks over here. There often are ogres that are hired as bouncers in case things happen, which sometimes they do, and because it's mostly like fortune hunters and stuff that hang out there. But yeah, that's what you would basically know of that locale. You would pass by it all the time, I told you, like, because it's right there in the eastern square. So I'm sure you've seen it. You might have seen people getting thrown out from time to time here or there as well. Okay, so then you guys can stick together for most of the travel, and then eventually you get over to the eastern square, and then you split off. Madjac, Rowena head north. Jinzo, Gwydion, you head to Brew. And Atolia, where did you end up saying you wanted to go?
I will follow Madjac and Rowena to the house.
Okay. The three of you go ahead and give me a vigilant test as you arrive, and see if there's anything interesting that you can tell.
Taking a +1, so this is under 8.
It's fairly late. There are a handful of lights in the neighborhood, but for the most part, it's still very dark. You would guess that the bulk of people have probably gone to bed. How did we do?
Succeeded with a margin of 5.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so Atolia and Madjac both succeeded. Madjac, you had a really good margin. So you would notice. So first of all, Madjac, when they point out, this is your first time seeing it, you do see that there are multiple buildings that all kind of converge, and they have this shared yard. If you get to the edge, if you kind of go to that wall that Rowena was trying to peek over at one point, I would say with your kind of 5 differential, whatever it was, you do see that there seems to be a stair in the back, like this steep stair that seems to go down. You would imagine like a cellar or something like that. You see that there is a kitchen. You think it's a kitchen entrance because it's the back of the house. It probably would be like a back door that goes into a kitchen area. And then there's like this front door, this main gate. But when you pass by that main gate out in front, you notice that it appears to be nailed shut. And like there's planks over top of the gate. So this doesn't even look like a house, at least as people pass by on the street, that is even occupied. And that might explain to Tolia and Rowena why when they came up, they didn't go in a front door. They snuck around to the back. You also notice that you can't see anything inside. There's windows, but they're all completely dark. You don't see any lights, but I'll say, Madjac, you do notice that there are, like, it's not just so much that there's no lights, but you think there's probably like thick curtains making it impossible to see inside. But from what you can glean, there are 3 ways inside. Trying to break through that main gate, sneaking into the backyard, and maybe the stair, and maybe that door in the back. But you don't see any activity, like whatsoever. It just seems like a dark, tall, empty building. Okay.
When you observe the people converge on this building, did you see what entrance they used? Did they go in the back door? Did they go down that stairwell at the back?
They hopped the fence.
I lost sight of them. Somewhere in the back, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's try to discreetly post up and see if anybody else approaches. We'll wait till Gwydion and Jinzo finish trying to look for this individual that Father Sarvano mentioned, and then we can decide if we want to breach the structure.
Okay. So we'll hop over to Jinzo and Gwydion for one more scene here as we see them approach. They're walking through the eastern square. We can see that Atolia and Madjac and Rowena have just kind of headed north up towards the house. Again, you're not that far away. You're probably all like 10 minutes walk between each other. And the two of you, when you get up to the door, you can already see there's people laying on the ground, having been thrown out. You see that there is a very large and angry looking ogre right at the door as the two of you come in, and he looks down at you all and he says, "No trouble."
Of course not.
No. We already
He
seen
leans
too much
down.
tonight.
He leans down.
You're just starting.
He doesn't smell any booze on you guys.
No, we're clean. But we just saw some assholes try to burn Savola's church down. So we need a drink.
No recollection or no recognition of the name. Yeah.
No trouble.
No.
Closing soon.
Exactly. Those guys in there are already drunk. They're the assholes. We're going to be the good ones.
And he's,
You smell like asshole to me.
He's right on that one.
Hey, you got me. You've got me. I do.
and then he starts laughing. And then he like slaps you on the side of like your shoulder, and like Gwydion, you just kind of get pushed to the side and kind of like domino into Jinzo, and the two of you kind of rattle. This guy's big and strong. And then he kind of redirects you,
Hurry up. Closing soon.
All right.
pushes you inside. And there's a handful of people left, but you can definitely tell they're nearing last call. What do you guys want to do?
I'll shuffle in.
Okay.
That's maybe if it's the bartender still working.
Yeah,
Heard of
there's a
Balatro.
bartender still working. Yeah, they come over.
It's been around.
Like, we're closing. Yeah, fine. Just the red ale. That's all we got. And everything else is put away.
Yeah, give me one of those.
And they hand over two, one for you, one for Gwydion, and it's this fermented red ale. And so when you get it, it's what a smell on it. It smells like an asshole. As like he hands this over to the two of you, and it's 5 shilling a piece. And this isn't like the super good stuff, but it's decent. And 5 shillings a piece. And he says, "Drink it." Actually, that's not his voice. "Drink it fast."
I can drink fast if you just tell me where Balatro is, or if you've seen him.
But what? What?
I'll drink mine.
Fucking-
I'll grab Jinzo's and I'll start drinking it.
Wait, he hasn't told us anything yet.
He said drink it fast. I'm being diplomatic, asshole. Buy it like
Not a
deal.
deal.
Okay. All right. One of you roll persuasive. Whoever wants to do it. This is the worst crew to do a persuasive, like in terms of the numbers.
Are we both at 5?
Yeah.
Both so
I think
Oh
we're
my
both at
God.
5.
Good. Diplomatic man.
Good.
I'm
Gracious.
gonna do it. I'm gonna take an audience dice though. Get myself up to a whopping 6.
Okay.
Thank you, audience.
Yeah. I'm gonna check this boost for that +1.
Okay.
Mo.
And so they look at you and they're like, but what? What did you say?
Balatro,
Finger
that's his name.
painting? What's up?
Balatro, right?
What did I tell you?
Baleto.
Baleto. Baleto. Oh, the old man?
Yeah, is he still drinking it?
And so he kind of
Kind of like a
looks
knife,
around.
but with a B.
He looks around for a bit. And he's like, "Hi, Brute!" And you see the ogre that was at the front door. Whoa. Where's the old man? Outside. And you recall as you were coming in that there was like a drunken heaping man on the ground, like just sort of in his own piss and vomit. Yeah, he's outside. Get out.
Thanks for the bruise.
Get out. Brute! They're being problematic.
So you get for a result margin of -9.
Oh no,
You
we're
just
on our
kind
way
of
out.
like I can't keep that drink, and like because like you're like spilling it all. Like, oh, I cleaned the bar already. Why you come
You
on?
said drink fast. I was trying to be.
When you drink, it goes in your mouth, not on your freaking clothes or on the. Oh goodness, oh god! And you just hear. Thump.
He said I smelled like an asshole. Now I'll smell like booze. I figure it balances out.
And so Brute, the ogre, comes up behind you.
Are you causing trouble?
Yeah, they're causing trouble. They spilled everything all over here.
I'm just
Okay.
clumsy. I'm not troublesome.
And he puts like his big, meaty hand on the back of your head.
Okay.
And he just sort of very slowly kind of pushes it down to the bar.
Clean. Clean.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of moves your head around a little bit so that you can kind of clean it all up. And then he pulls it back up.
There. Now you're helpful.
I think we've had enough.
We're closed anyway. Hey, we're closed. Everyone get the fuck out! As he yells really loud. And like you see everyone like and drinking really fast. Oh, you're spilling it! Oh, bro, go get that one. He spilled it again. And Bro's okay. Dum, dum, dum. He's just going around making people lick up all the spilt beer. What do you do?
Yeah. It's funny when it happens to somebody else.
Well,
What do you two
we
do?
know he's outside.
I still drink your beer though, so I guess it's okay.
Okay.
You
It's
asshole.
funny because you paid for it.
You did. 10 shillings. Gone. Okay. So you go.
so good.
Do you guys go outside to find him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go outside. There's a little alleyway. You kind of saw a bunch of people sprawled around, and when you get over there, it just, oh god, it smells like urine, vomit. You can see there's probably about a half a dozen people scattered about, all in various states of just like nastiness, different degrees of covered in their own vomit, and they're all just, in the corner here and there. What do you do?
Just poking at the bodies, rolling them over, asking if they're
He's got the
Belletto.
most scars.
Who's got the most scars? It's hard to tell. They're all kind of covered in mud, and vomit, and dirt, and booze and whatnot. But like Jinzo, you start going through and like rolling them over, asking what? Or do you
Yeah,
just
you
say
Belletto.
like,
Smack him across the face.
okay,
Come on, now try to sober him up.
okay. You go through 6 different people, and you keep asking, and they're like, "No!" And then they kind of puke on your shoes, or they kind of push you away, or they kick you before you finally get this old man who looks up at you. He's got a big nose that's clearly been broken like 100 times. And he looks up, and he's like, "Oh, what? Oh, Belletto, what do you want?
Whittier, it's this one.
Huh? No,
Let's get you home, old
Quentin.
man.
Huh? What?
Let's get you home.
Who are you? What? Are you trying to rob me? Hey, guards, he's trying to rob me." He's just kind of calling out here and there. What do you do?
No, it's so
Nobody's
Nobody's trying to
Come
rob
on.
you. You shit yourself, you dumb old man.
Again?
I know, right?
Oh, and he kind of like
hideous
reaches
bastard.
back, and he's like,
save you your shame.
"Oh, damn it, I did.
Oh God, he did. Why am I carrying him? Oh, damn it.
You're carrying me? No, you're going the wrong way. That way." And he's like pointing some random other direction. And we'll end on that. We'll end on you carrying a man who shit his pants, and he doesn't know how to get home. And Atolia, Madjac, and Rowena are are staking out this suspected site of terrorist activity. We just got raided too. 20 sides is every story. Thank you for the raid. Yeah, it's about that time for us though. Appreciate that. All right, there you go. Let's see. XP. What do we want to do for XP?
1,000,000.
30.
Let's go 2. Let's go 2. It was a little scattered. There's a bunch of different scenes here and there, so let's say 2. I think that's fair.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you also earlier to the raid for Blue Cottage D&D.
All right. And if any of you had corruption along the way, obviously it's gone now. So you're good to go. Temporary corruption, I should say. But yeah, all that's wearing off at this point, and we'll pick up next time with you all doing your stakeout and carrying an old man covered in shit back to his house.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's do some closing plugs, and then we'll get on out of here. We're going to start with Aaron. Aaron, what is going on over at Garblack?
So you can catch us next week on Wednesday. We're we're going to be alternating between a couple of games on Wednesday. It'll either be Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition with Jim running it, or Dan is going to be starting War Stories with us, the recent World War II role-playing game. So we're going to be fluctuating between the two of those. That'll be starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, you can come back at the same time, and Pete will be in the GM seat continuing his Mothership run, which is a lot of fun.
Fantastic. As for us here, next game is tomorrow night, playing some Delta Green. Saturday, we got Call of Cthulhu. Monday, we've got Alien. We're off on Tuesday, though normally we would be playing Frontier Scum that night, and then we'll be back next Thursday with more Symbaroum, and next Friday with more Warhammer 40k Wrath in Glory. You can also check out the YouTube page, Adventures in Lollygagging, find all of our games, both current and former, and you should pop into the Discord, say hi to us, tell us how we play games wrong, and all that kind of good stuff. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and raid. Who are we going to raid? Let's raid Insomnia Night RPG. And that'll be that. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for watching this later if you're doing that. And we'll see y'all. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.